I'm a very prideful person, okay? And that was one of my stumbling blocks, because what does God do with the prideful? Does anybody know? He what? He resists you. And by resisting you, he humbles you. He breaks you down. I was on my knees, and I'm over here, God, oh God, please help me. And then I'd get up and I'd walk and I'd be all bad, Mr. Bad Man, even spiritually. Okay, I gotta share this with you guys. I'm kind of embarrassed about this, but I changed my life around, okay? I dedicated my life to the Lord, and I started really coming serious to church, right? And I was reading my Bible, you guys, like a madman. I mean, I'm spending all this time with the Lord. I even turned off and I put away my video games. And video games to some people are like, oh, it's not even bad for you. But I'm like, God, everything in my life is yours. All of my time, every book I read, I want it to be about you. Every television show I watch, I want it to build me up. Everything in my life, God, I want it to be about you. So I'm doing all this stuff, and then I started getting puffed up and arrogant. Pastor Mo, I was coming to church, and I'd sit right here, and after worship or during worship, I'd look around and be like, they ain't worshiping as hard as me. They don't love God like I do. I'm serious. I would even think in my head, I'd look at somebody and I'd be like, they didn't even read their word last night. I bet you. I was worshiping last night. I was on my knees. I was praising God to some Fred Hammond in my room. I was preparing my spirit. But look at these people. They're over here looking around and being distracted. And I was judging everybody around me, even inside this own church. I was in trouble and I didn't even know it. I was prideful, I was puffed up, and I was looking down upon people, and I was like, I'm studying my word. Let me preach. Give me that mic. Let me come up here and rock this mic right quick. I was prideful. I was messed up. These things were going on in my head, and I started going crazy. I didn't know it, but I'm out of my mind. But I didn't know it. I'm saying, this is for God. I'm taking this serious. I'm seeking God like no one else. And so I'm looking down at people, and I noticed my life started to go like this. My ministry started shaking a little bit. Some people stopped coming. And I'm just like, oh, man. My financial aspect of my life started taking a big hit. A lot of the areas, every aspect of my life, you guys, it started to seem like it was going horrible. And I'm just like, God, what is going on? What is going on with my life? I love you. I'm reading your word. And I didn't get it, but I was prideful. I had all this pride. I was puffed up. And God was resisting me. He said, I can't use you. You think you're better than me. I can't use that. And I started seeing him, and he would use children to speak to me. And he would use all these other people in the church, people just saved and on fire for God, to speak to me. And I was blown away, and I was looking at him like, but I read the Bible more than that. I pray every day, but man, what's going on? God was using them, and he stopped using me so much. He even closed my tongue, and I didn't speak for a long time. I didn't preach for some time, and God just he closed my mouth. He stopped putting words in my mouth, and I'd be sitting there, and I'd be like, I wasn't inspired to speak anymore. God was starting to close my gifting and starting to close it up and seal it up. And I was messed up. Say messed up. That was me. But God did something so amazing. He's gracious. He loves me. So one day I'm crying, I'm on my knees as usual, and I'm just like, and he goes, shh.